Hello, everyone. Welcome to this teaching and learning video series for Semester 1. In this video, we will explore the fascinating world of transport mechanisms across the cell membrane. In this part of the lesson, we will focus on bulk transport. Bulk transport is a vital process in cellular biology that involves the movement of large molecules or particles across the cell membrane in bulk via vesicles, especially in animal cell, and requires energy. There are two types of bulk transport: endocytosis and exocytosis. Endocytosis is a cellular process that involves the influx of materials into the cell. During this process, the plasma membrane folds inward to form a vesicle, bringing substances from outside the cell into the cytoplasm. There are two types of endocytosis. The first is phagocytosis, and the second is pinocytosis. Phagocytosis is a process where cells, like macrophages or phagocytic cells, engulf and digest foreign particles, bacteria, or dying cells. Let us explore how phagocytosis occurs. Phagocytosis is the process where a cell engulfs solid materials from its surroundings. First, the cell detects a solid substance outside. The solid substances are taken into cell. The plasma membrane invaginates, and extensions called pseudopodia form around the substance. Then, the solid substance is then enclosed within a vesicle inside the cell. This vesicle is known as a food vacuole, a phagosome, or a phagocytic vacuole. Next, the vacuole fuses with a lysosome, an organelle that contains digestive enzymes. Inside this fused structure, intracellular digestion occurs. Finally, the digested materials are absorbed by the cell, providing nutrients or energy for cellular activities. Besides engulfing solid materials through phagocytosis, cells also have a way to take in fluids from their environment. This process is called pinocytosis. Pinocytosis is a type of endocytosis where the cell engulfs and absorbs tiny droplets of liquid from its surroundings. For example, absorptive cells in the kidney and intestines use pinocytosis to take in dissolved solutes from the extracellular fluid. Through pinocytosis, cells can absorb nutrients and essential molecules dissolved in liquids. But how exactly does pinocytosis happen inside the cell? Let's take a closer look at the steps involved. So how does pinocytosis occur? First, tiny droplets of fluid are trapped by folds of the plasma membrane. The membrane surrounds the fluid gently. Next, these folds pinch off from the membrane, forming small fluid-filled vesicles called pinocytic vesicle inside the cytosol. Finally, the contents of the vesicles are slowly transferred into the cytosol, allowing the cell to absorb the necessary molecules. While pinocytosis brings materials into the cell, cells also have an important process to move materials out of the cell. This process is known as exocytosis. Exocytosis is a process where a cell egests or secretes substances from the cytoplasm to the outside of the cell. This happens through the fusion of a vesicle with the plasma membrane, allowing the contents to be released into the external environment. For example, during digestion, pancreatic cells secrete the hormone insulin into the bloodstream using exocytosis. Exocytosis is essential for cells to remove waste materials and to deliver important substances like hormones and enzymes to where they are needed in the body. Now that we understand what exocytosis is, let's take a closer look at how this process actually takes place inside the cell. How does exocytosis occur? Let's explore the steps together. First, a secretory vesicle moves towards the plasma membrane. This vesicle carries substances that need to be released from the cell. Next, the vesicle fuses with the plasma membrane. As fusion happens, the membrane of the vesicle becomes part of the plasma membrane. Finally, the contents of the vesicle are released into the external environment. With that, we have completed our exploration of how substances move into and out of the cell through these amazing processes. Now let's summarize what we have learned today. In this lesson, we learned how bulk transport moves materials into and out of the cell through endocytosis and exocytosis. These processes are vital for cell survival and function. Thank you for watching and keep exploring the amazing world of cells.